The postseason for high school lacrosse is around the corner. It's only right we bring in Kevin Piel to break down the brackets. Kevin, thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Postseason lacrosse, let's go. Super exciting.
Let's waste no time. Boys bracket, here we go. Region 1, Division 1. The matchup everybody is eyeing. Perrysburg and Anthony Wayne. Perrysburg looking for revenge after Anthony Wayne beat it in April. You called the game. What is so intriguing about the rematch?
What a game in White House. 4-3, Anthony Wayne was able to hang on and win that contest. Perrysburg had the ball, though, with a chance to tie it within the last 90 seconds. We're so spoiled to have a chance to see this matchup once again. Of course, you saw at the top of the bracket, winner will play the top seed in the region, but ultimately super excited to see how this one goes because I really think it's a toss-up. Both teams have so many impact players, and we'll see what kind of gives. Can Perrysburg ultimately bounce back from that previous loss? I think they can.
Now we move to Division 2, Region 5, another stacked quadrant, and at the 2 seed is St. John's, making it all the way to the state finals last year, only to lose to the 6th seed in this bracket, St. Francis. But let me ask you, how high are you on the Titans heading into the postseason?
Very much so. I think they could make it to Columbus. I think they could potentially win a title this year, to be honest with you. I don't see many weaknesses in this team. You have the four-headed monster of Dusing, Strayer, Weinberg, and also, of course, Alexander Spear at the top offensively. They're very sound defensively as well. They could see Ottawa Hills, which would be a rematch of that previous game. Ottawa Hills lost 12-5. Not a blowout, but St. John's was able to handle them comfortably, so that could be an intriguing matchup on that side. But of course, that's St. Francis team on the other side. 8-5 was the regular season matchup.
Blood in the water.
Yeah, 8-5 was the regular season matchup. St. John's got out to a 3-0 lead after a quarter, and St. Francis got it to within 2 in the second half. And they did a lot of things that I know Dave, Chris, and I were very impressed with. They were able to win a lot of faceoffs, put a lot of pressure on the Titans. They held on. St. John's has won some tough games lately. I mean, you look at even having to outlast Anthony Wayne in overtime at the end of this past week, 11-10, in order to get another win late in the season. So St. John's is tough. St. Francis also has playoff pedigree with Coach Loy and that roster. I really want to see that game. I'm sure Northwest Ohio wants to see that game a second time because it's going to be a doozy.
The girls' side is also interesting for a lot of reasons. A lot of these teams are not grouped in the same bracket, so you have a lot of our teams in the area as lower seeds. The higher seeds, only Anthony Wayne in our area is a higher seed among these 4 matchups. But which team here are you eyeing the most to make a big run?
Anthony Wayne from this group. Coach Tully has a solid squad. They've played some very tough competition this year. I know on BCSN, they played St. Ursula at home a little earlier this season, and that was an intriguing game to take in. That was a game that they led early. St. Ursula pulled away in the second half. A lot of tougher road games, but I know Perrysburg, Coach Stevens, not super upset with that matchup against Wadsworth. We'll see. It's not easy. I mean, it's a tough road game, but can Perrysburg ultimately find a way to pull an upset? I would say maybe they would have the best chance. Northview, double-digit wins. Coach Price has done a great job this year with this group. St. Joseph's did handle them the first time, though, so that is a tough matchup. And Finley at Olentangy, tough matchup as well. But ultimately, some great seasons for all these teams. Can one of them potentially pull an upset? We'll see.
Let's take a look at Division 2 now. As you told me before we started taping, styles make fights. It's all about matchups. It's kind of like March Madness. Which lower seed can you see upsetting their higher seed in the postseason?
Ottawa Hills and St. Ursula played an intriguing game at Niedermeyer Stadium earlier this year. 12-5, St. Ursula was able to win. Of course, the Arrows have all that firepower. Marissa Holman, 68 goals by herself. They've scored over 200 for the season. But Ottawa Hills has won some intriguing games this year, and they've had some tough losses along the way, some close losses. Maybe that game from early in the season will help them. This is definitely the game, the asterisk, the one you mark as being the very intriguing game, because I think the matchups for Maumee Valley, Central Catholic in particular, are not great. But what I'm looking forward to is on Monday night, Clay and Notre Dame are playing for the second time this year. I want to see where these two teams are at going into playoff road games. They play against each other in an intriguing matchup to kind of finish out the regular season. So we'll see. Maybe one of those teams can build some momentum and ultimately go into Westlake or Avon Lake and pull off an upset.
Postseason lacrosse, there's nothing like it. Kevin Piel joining us in studio to break down the matchups and the brackets. He's going to be on a few calls as well for some of these big-time games. He's going to have as much fun as I am watching them, calling them. Kevin, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you, Yaw.